Hey guys, welcome back to Skylanders Ring of Heroes. In today's video, we're going to be talking about healers. I'll do a bit of a recap on my progression at the end of the video as well. But the main idea of this one is to talk about healers because a lot of people have been asking about healers and different options, and I just wanted to go through some of it. And first up, I haven't used every healer. I don't know how good their multipliers are on their heal and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk about the general concept of healing because it's a little different to some other games where you always, in other games, you need that big AoE heal all the time, basically in every team to get you through until you get into speed teams. In this game, it's a little different. Seeing as you only have 3 units in your team, for a lot of early content, a single healer is enough, and that's why a lot of real early on, you'll get away with just using the hot dog. If I can find my hot dog, I haven't really powered him up all the way down here. Hot dog has that single target heal, and it does damage as well. He's not the best healer, but he's good for early game. He does what you need him to do. He gets that heal off. He does have an attack buff as well, which is kind of nice just for one unit when you're using Stealth Elf with him. The healer I decided to go with on this run, most of my other runs, on my pre-global launch accounts, I didn't actually build a healer really. I built the hot dog on my first one. I got him to 5-star unawakened on the second one, and that was good enough. And then I was just using the broccoli guy. We'll talk about broccoli guy at the end, about his healing. But in this one, I've decided to go with the whirlwind. It's a completely new idea to me. I hadn't tried it, so I really wanted to try the progression with whirlwind. And I'm actually really enjoying the whirlwind. The problem with a lot of healers, like you've got Guerrilla Driller, same with the hot dog, same with a lot of the healers, they all have a really expensive heal. And if I could find Guerrilla Driller, here he is. And the problem with these expensive heals is, what I found in testing, I tested Guerrilla Driller a bit in the pre-launch server, and the problem with this is that it uses a good chunk of mana, and that just means that you're taking away from the damage your team can deal, and a lot of the time, especially in early sort of progression, that extra mana could probably kill an enemy that would reduce the damage you're taking, sort of thing. And it's a hard balance to understand until you start testing it. But a lot of the time, also this Guerrilla Driller, for me, he'd always use his heal when I was at max health, and then it would be on cooldown when I need it. And because he'd use it at max health, my other units weren't getting to use their abilities. So AI is bad. That's the other thing to do with it. That's why I decided to go with the other thing with Guerrilla Driller is his heal didn't seem that great for the amount it heals. So that's the other reason I decided to go with Whirlwind. And Whirlwind is a great healer. The thing with regenerate heals is they're based on attack. All heals are based on attack unless they state otherwise. So you do have to build this guy for a bit more attack to get the heal up there. As you can see, mine's has got a fairly high attack, not too high defenses, but that's a trade-off when you're using this type of heal. The one bad thing about the Whirlwind is I find you really do need those skill ups, and skill up stones are quite rare, so it's a decision you're going to have to make. I made it on this account. I'm quite happy with it. On my other accounts, I did just skill up my broccoli guy, and he was basically my main healer for all the content. This Whirlwind did help me get through early progression. Still using it into B8 is really nice. Helped speed up my progression into B8. It'll probably drop off from there. Still really good for tower healing and Realm of Souls and all that sort of thing. But at the moment, because the 2 dungeons are Fire Element boss and Magic Element and Wind Element bosses for W10 and B10 respectively, he's probably not going to be able to heal in those at level 10, just because he's elemental neutral or elemental weak against them, and being an attacker, being built for attack, he's probably not going to have the HP to stand up against them. But for early game, I did really enjoy it. Definitely not a must build unit. A lot of people are asking me, do I need to build Whirlwind? No, you don't have to build Whirlwind. I really enjoyed the progress, but in the end, you can choose what you want. Like I said, I did progress through 2 other accounts, only using Broccoli Guy pretty much as my healer after Hot Dog. So other healers that I get asked about often are something like, where is it? We'll find him. So the first one's Flashwing. Flashwing, and along with the other units that I'm about to go through as well, falls into a trap where, for instance, Flashwing is an amazing healer. However, you cannot fully farm the shards, meaning that early to mid game, unless you're spending heavy and getting a lot of these shards, you'll have trouble powering her up to that 4-star, 5-star, 6-star range, which means she's probably going to fall off in effectiveness because she won't have the base stats to really stand up against the content you're trying to progress through. And that is the main issue with a bunch of these healers. But endgame, I can see them being really decent. So Flashwing was actually fully farmable in the soft launch server for a period, and I think it was from scenario 5 on hard mode, stage 1 through 6, and there were some guys who actually managed to max her out, and she was an absolute beast. So her heal is fairly similar to Guerrilla Driller's, except it heals for a lot more. So her base HP is a lot higher, which means you get more bang out of it. And I don't know whether the multiplier is just bigger as well, or whether it is just that fact that her HP is a much bigger pooler, which means she gets a higher HP, heals more, and so on. So she also grants resistance up, which is really nice considering bombs were a big thing in PvP, and also something like the Beast Dungeon, you've got the armor break that gets put on. In the Whaling Dungeon, you've got the diminishes that get applied and stuff like that. So the effect resistance up is really nice too. The other thing that makes her really awesome is this first skill. When she's awakened, the first skill fires a crystal laser at an enemy and decreases all buff counts by 3. Now that all buff counts by 3, it means, say they've got a buff that's has 3 turns left on it, it means it will reduce that by 3, pulling it down to 0. If they have a buff that's up for 4 turns, it'll reduce it by 3, bringing that buff down to 1 turn. Now, it does reduce all buffs like that. So if they have 3 buffs at 3 turns, it will remove them all completely. If they have, say, 2 buffs that have 4 turns, it will put them both down to 1 turn remaining. But there isn't that many buffs with more than 3 turns that I've seen, so it's almost effectively a full strip. And the other thing with it is, when you skill it up to max, it decreases all buff counts on all enemies, meaning it does that same thing to every other enemy as well, which is fantastic. And then you combine that with the leader skill that has a chance to reduce cooldown times when an ally is attacked, and this leader skill applies to all allies. So say you've got your Wallop over here sitting in your team and your Flashwing gets attacked, your Wallop has a chance to get his cooldowns reduced, which is really nice. So just a really good kit on this Flashwing with good base stats, make her a real solid healer. But like I said, unfortunately, not going to be farmable, so going to be hard to use. And then we move into the light Flashwing, the light version, also a really cool looking unit. She's really nice too. She's a bit different. She's not just a straight healer. She's got a lot of different support options. She's got an attack buff for your allies on a low mana cost. She's got this shield and strength recovers endurance. So that's really nice too. But yeah, like I said, she's got that support, which is real nice, and shields are based off HP. And then she's also got the regen, which is based off attack. So I'm not sure how I'd build it. Whether I would want her to get more shielding out of the shield, or whether you'd want her to get more healing out of the heal. But she's also got this really nice passive that grants heal up for 1 turn when an ally gets attacked. Only a 30% chance, but it's still not too bad. And when it's awakened, also decreases debuff count by 1, which is nice. It's a mini cleanse. Heal up, which is going to increase the amount that she heals with this, or if you bring her as a attack and shield support, it'll increase the healing that another healer has that you bring on your team. So she's an interesting unit that can be used in a lot of places, but once again, like I said, that thing of being stuck at 4-star does make her lose a lot of effectiveness moving in past that sort of B7, B8 range. So that's the light Flashwing. Another one that looks really promising, but I haven't tested, is light Jet-Vac. I'm sort of building mine a little bit now, just because I had some shards, but obviously I won't get to test him at max level at 6-star for a while. So his kit just looks really nice. His heal is super expensive. It skills up to be a 5 mana cost, and even though it is that 5 mana cost, it's a 30-second cooldown. So he's one of those ones that looks really good on paper. It will depend how much or how often you do need to heal and how much this does actually heal for. I hadn't seen anyone test him at 6-star yet, so that one remains to be seen, but his kit looks really nice. He's got this first skill, which blasts, anyway, it attacks the enemy and then grants himself a shield, and it's only 2 mana, which isn't too bad, but the thing about that shield on himself, it makes him a good option for a neutral tank. I'm thinking for this guy, he may be a really good option for Beast Dungeon 10, because he's neutral element to everything, so he can be your neutral tank, and then you could bring 2 fire or magic units in with him, and basically he would take all the aggro, but he keeps shielding himself and healing, which is fantastic. The other thing that makes me think he's going to be good, once again, haven't tested him, but really think he will be amazing, is he gains wide range damage down to all allies for 1 turn. Now, I don't know exactly how much the damage down is, but I think one of the guys on Discord, I think it was Toby, was testing it, and said it actually did reduce the damage a lot. I think he said around 50%, so don't quote me on that. I'm not sure exactly how much it is. We'd have to test it, but the wide range damage down basically just reduces the damage of area effect attacks on your team. So it is only one turn, but it does skill up to be a 2-turn effect for that. And with the Beast Labyrinth boss, because he does pretty much, he's got the beam, and then he's got that double swing attack and his revenge attack that are all AoE. This could really come into play because his revenge hits really hard, and if you can negate some of that damage, it'll be massive. The other thing he does have is a passive. For every 5 attacks that he receives, once again, he'll be receiving a lot of attacks because he'll be the neutral element in that dungeon if that's the way you choose to play him. He heals a small amount of HP and restores endurance by 10 to the ally with the lowest HP. With the lowest endurance. So that endurance buff of 10 is huge. Something big that sort of starts to occur is when your healer gets knocked down and you can't heal when you need to. It's really frustrating. But like I said, if he's focused getting all the aggro, every time he gets that, it's going to buff his own endurance. So hopefully he'll never get knocked down and that he'll always be able to heal when he needs to. So he's a healer that I'm definitely going to build. I think I'm actually going to start requesting him from guild to try and start building him because he's one of those units that looks really nice on paper and I really love to build. Another one that looks really promising, but I've heard isn't too good from people that have tested her on the soft launch server is Deja Vu. Now, Deja Vu's first skill is basically a strip, but that's probably not the skill I'd use on it. The fantastic thing about her is she's got this ability that decreases the debuff count on all allies and heals all allies in proportion to her max HP. So it's another one of those HP scaling heals, which is nice because it means you get to build your healer tanky, which is fantastic. And then this third skill is sorry if I can get it to click, is a focus ability, which grants Hourglass on the ally with the highest attack. It basically takes a snapshot of where their HP is. I'm 90% sure this is how it works. If it's not, let me know. But it takes a snapshot of where their HP is when you place the buff. Once the buff ends, then once it's gone through the 3 turns, it'll return the HP back to that level even if they've lost HP. But if they die, it doesn't bring them back to life. But the other huge thing about it is it grants all allies with attack up for 3 turns. So that's huge. She's got basically a 1 mana cost ability and a 0 mana cost ability, so she's super efficient. She has a HP based heal and a cleanse and also an attack buff and a nice little niche mechanic for your unit with the highest attack. So her Awaken does go into that first skill, which makes it decreases all buff counts by 1 and a 50% chance to repeat the action. So it could be a double strip. I'd still be looking at using these 2 support skills because I think they're fantastic. This would definitely have niche uses. But like I said, I've heard that her heal isn't that great, but still a unit I would love to test. So I just wanted to go through some of the main healers that I get asked about because those are the sort of questions that I do repeatedly answer. Like I said, I haven't tested them, all of them, so I'm not 100% sure, but that's just a bit of theory crafting behind it because everyone's always asking and I just wanted to get that across. The final thing I wanted to mention, like I said, on my other 2 accounts, pretty much the only healer I used was the Broccoli Guy. Now, Broccoli Guy is a fantastic healer. Like I said, because we've only got 3 units, a single target heal is often enough if 1 or 2 of your units are tanky. With Broccoli Guy, I do like the skill ups into Broccoli Guy. Up to the regen, on my my pre-launch account, I did get him up to the HP regen and I maxed out this skill. And he really did hold his own. Through B8 and B9, he can pretty much solo heal it once your units do have tanky enough stats, and this Broccoli Guy is leveled up enough. So even at the moment on my account, this actual account with this Stealth Elf on these stats, sometimes in my B8 runs, I'm only doing a 2-man run. I'll probably make a video talking about this 2-man run because it does manage to 3-star it at the stats I have, so I'll go through it. But even if my Whirlwind does die before the boss, Stealth Elf with my Broccoli Guy at 5-star can actually solo the boss, provided my Stealth Elf crits enough. She's having crit issues at the moment. So Broccoli Guy is actually fantastic. And then when you move into B9, which the main strat that I'm going to be using, and I used on soft launch, is going to be Whamshell and Boomer. And basically you build Whamshell really tanky. He has good support. He has the defense buff and the attack break. And then you got Boomer, who's just there for the damage to get through the boss. And basically the Broccoli Guy's there just to heal the Boomer. The Whamshell's tanky enough to sort of live a few hits. And then the Broccoli Guy's always bringing the Boomer up. Now, Broccoli Guy, there has been a recent one. I know Tectone made a video about Broccoli Guy and not to farm him early game. I'll leave a link to Tectone's video in the description if you want to have a look at that. And a lot of people have messaged me over the last couple of days saying that apparently people have found out that the drop rates are much higher for villains on harder stage scenarios. So Skylanders stay the same, whether you're farming easy, normal, or hard, it doesn't matter. Their drop rates are apparently the same. But I definitely did notice when I was farming these hard modes for 5-star runes, that the Broccoli Guy rates were really high. Apparently it's about a 50% drop rate, so when you do a 10x, you should be getting about 5 from the hard mode. On normal, I think it's about 30%, so you should be getting 3. So it is a fair difference, so if you can hold out on that Broccoli Guy until then, I'd definitely recommend farming normal scenarios. When you're still at that early stage farming normals, you can basically farm whatever scenario has the unit you're looking to build. For me, early game, I was farming my Whirlwind at 10 easy, which was really nice because it's a really mana efficient way to get experience and gold. It's just super mana efficient in that it's the last level, so the experience is up, the gold is up, but it's still that 3 mana cost. That's what I was farming. There was a lot farming Kaboom. I'm not sure what else. I personally, if I did another account, I'd probably farm the Boomer as soon as I got up to the stage of being able to do that on normal. It is a bit of a harder stage, but Boomer's going to be real vital going into B9. And he's just another great bomber with the attack buff and all that, but that's not here nor there. Basically, all I'm saying is Broccoli Guy is a really amazing healer. If you don't want to go with any other healers and you just want to roll with the hot dog and then work on other teams, you can do that and get away with Broccoli Guy. I got up to, like I said, B9 on the soft launch servers, basically using Broccoli Guy as my only healer, and it worked fine. But yeah, he is really solid. For the B9 runs, I did have him completely maxed out. Like I said, with the skill ups up to the regen is actually really handy, and that extra buff removal. On the Beast Labyrinth boss, where the crystals put defense break on your units, having the defense break is a 2-turn, so unless you do have that level 5 skill up, it won't actually remove the defense break debuff. Yeah, if you don't have that extra skill up, it'll still be there for 1 turn, which means you will take a hit from the box with weakened defense. But the defense up with that cleanse, with the HP regen, just to keep it ticking. And on top of that, like I said, I eventually put these 2 skill ups into it. It meant that Broccoli Guy could just live long enough, and in B9, it is tanky enough at 6-star max to actually withstand a hit from the boss. So even if the boss does focus it, there's 2 great things happening there. Broccoli Guy's taking the aggro from your actual Skylanders, and then also getting that heal off still without dying. So just a fantastic unit for healing. Like I said, I'm enjoying personally my Whirlwind progression. I just think it definitely sped up the progression for me compared to the other accounts that I've played on. However, like I said, it does have that setback of having to have the skill ups, and the fact that it sort of works both ways. The fact that you build it for attack, the skill 1 actually hits decently hard and has the defense buff, which is really nice. And if I synergized a team that had electric shock, it'd be hitting twice, which is even better. But for now, I'm really like I said, really liking the Whirlwind. Not a must do. Guerrilla Driller is one that, like I said, I wasn't a massive fan of, but you do get a lot of free shards for him, so you can test him out. Not my number 1 choice, but still not the worst. Like I said, that light Jet-Vac, the Flash Wing, and the Deja Vu are all ones that I'm really keen to test out and find out how well they work. But for now, this is what I'm doing, and that's pretty much the healers. As for a quick progression update, because I know this video is going really long, I'll do a quick progression update, tell you guys where I'm at. So pretty much what I've been doing has been farming Boomer. So I've got him to 4-star plus 1. That's pretty much just what it is. I've just been grinding that. I did do a bit of B8 grinding, got a lot of 6-star runes, but unfortunately they're all like effect accuracy. So I only got 1 rune upgrade from B8. As for quests, I did manage to finish this quest, and massive fail, as you can probably tell. On soft launch, when you collected these rewards, they went into your inventory and you could open the scrolls. I clicked collect, and I forgot that now it actually summons them on the spot. So as you can see, I actually did summon the Wildstorm, so he's another really nice unit. I probably won't use him at the moment. I'm past the stage where Nat 5s have a great usefulness until I can 6-star them. But this guy, I might just put him as a spectator, level him, and then test him out in the arena if I have some spare attack runes, because he does do really good damage in arena, and especially if a lot of people are using the Stealth Elf as an option. He's a really good unit. I do have the Stormblade, of course, but the single target nukes are always higher damage, so it's always an option. But yeah, that's just another Nat 5 that I managed to pull, so another free-to-play Nat 5. Like I said, this game is so generous with the Nat 5s it does give you. I also did progress through the tower a bit, the Mirage Tower, up to 55. I needed gold, so I was trying to push it for gold, but at 55, the boss is this bomb that spawns other bombs, and there's just too much damage for me to deal with at the moment, so I'm going to let the Mirage Tower sit for another probably 20 days and come back to it. My big tip with the Mirage Tower is don't get hung up on a level of it trying to beat it. If you're really, really close and you think in a couple more tries you'll get it, have a crack, but my tip would be just go back to normal progression, farm some runes, farm some levels, farm some shards, make your team stronger, and then come back to it, because like I said, I've still got 22 days. If I finish it tomorrow or I finish it in 20 days time, it's not going to make a world of difference to me, so I'd rather not waste my time and energy on it right now and just come back to it later. But that is going to be pretty much it for the recap. Like I said, things are going pretty slow on the progression now, because I'm into that stage where I'm just either farming runes or farming boomer shards, and I probably won't have a look at B9 for maybe another 2 weeks. I'll have to farm my boomer up, I'll farm a wham shell up, and then I'll have to get a bunch of good runes before I can do that. So I'm just mixing my time between dungeon farming, because a lot of people do ask me, dungeon farming or shard farming. It doesn't really matter. I probably for the next day I'll farm runes, and then after that, if I get some good ones, I'll power them up, and then I'll need gold, so then I'll go back to scenario farming the shards, because that is the most efficient way to get gold. So just dancing between that, farming runes, then I run out of gold, then I'll farm shards and get the gold back to power up the runes that then I'll farm. It's an ongoing balance, but that's where I'm at the moment, dancing between rune farming in B8 and farming shards for the boomer. So thanks for watching the video, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.